Hello, everybody! And we are coming again with another episode of our talk show, Love It or Shove It. And believe it or not, we are on our 42nd episode. And today's topic is embracing sexuality. And it's me, Irina Links, and my co-host, Bruno Gel. And we have a dear guest, Tobi Staples. Tobi! Welcome. And I just specifically crafted this topic for all of us because I was asking Tobi, so Tobi, what should we talk about? And Tobi said, I'm going good with anything, whatever you pick. And I said, let's talk more about sexuality, because this is the topic not everybody is comfortable to talk. So we want during this hour to make sure that you're comfortable to talk about uncomfortable. Tobi, what does it come for you when we are in the topic of embracing sexuality? What does it mean?
Well, I'm happy to be here with you guys as always. And I'm happy for the viewers to be here with us too. Lots of love to everybody. Sexuality means something different for everybody, but for me personally, uniquely to me, it's a creative energy that is a necessity in your life for well-being of your being. So if you're refusing yourself of your sexual nature, you're refusing yourself of harmony and balance within yourself also. It runs that deep. So for me, yeah, I'm a very sexual being. Always have been, and I'm very open to speak it. Actually, it's funny, telling my friend that I was going to be on an episode talking about sex, he said, "Oh, that's your best subject, Tobi." So
yeah. This is your forte, and I totally agree. I'm also very, sexually expressive. And I think I don't remember being very shy about it, maybe like in the high school. But after that, it just, it was so natural. I would approach the guys that I liked and I would be the one to speak up. And the interesting part, I was never afraid of the rejection. To me, it was like, what? It's their loss. It's not mine, for sure. So it's all about just, the attitude and the perceptions that we have.
yes, very much so.
Bruno,
And the more you know yourself, yeah, sorry, Bruno, go for it.
No worries. I can go after, but anyways, when it comes to, like, for me, embracing sexuality, I mean, I've been a big fan of masturbation since I'm 13, and obviously that's not sexuality as a whole, but I did get to know myself a lot with it, like a lot, right? I mean, honestly.
Like a lot. I love it.
I'm trying it all. I'm trying it all, honestly. I mean, but that's the thing, like, when you get bored of something, you get to know something new, and you then let something new.
you become creative in the process. So
Yes.
sexuality, like when we are talking about embracing sexuality, it's all about self-expression, right? And
Yes.
self-awareness and self-discovery, like really understanding who we are and what we like and how open we are, right? And how open we can stay in order to express our desires to others.
And you know
Yes.
what? It's funny. We giggle and we laugh, but you know something? I have to just chuckle because I'm
No,
at a
it is.
level where I
Really.
dive deep into sexual awareness, and I believe that everybody should know what they like and what turns their crank. And
Yeah.
if you don't know what you like, well, then you cannot be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Well,
a
when you
huge magnitude.
Right.
What were you
So
going to say?
when you are relying on another person to satisfy you, right?
Yeah.
That means you do not know yourself. First, you have to know yourself. First, you have to know what really, like keeps you alive, what makes you, like really, ticklish you, right? And
Yeah.
then you could always deliver it to your partner.
Yes. But that's the thing, like for example, but I feel like when it comes to that, we have to like that's why we
Sorry, I had a
That's the same
thought.
thing again.
I'm not listening to you. I had a thought and it totally, I couldn't hold it back. Sorry, Bruno. Take that from the top.
It's okay. No worries. Anyways, it's just one of those things where like I think like we have to like open, like up about what we like. Because that's the thing, we can't just do it expecting the person to like, because we're together now and stuff, and we we complement each other. Yeah, but first you gotta know that if that is actually true, right? Because if you like to get spitted on your face and you spit on the person and you get slapped the fuck up,
I thought we were keeping this PG-13.
That's it. Well, Bruno decided just to express his and embrace his sexuality, right?
No, hey, yo, I don't like to get spitted or spitting. I don't like that. That's disgusting. Not for me. That's not for me. But what I mean is like, but we have to, but we have to, but we have to know, right? Like we have
Yeah.
to know how to, like we
We
have
want
to
to
open up.
explore. We want to
Yes.
explore and see what we like.
Yes, absolutely. Right. And that's the thing. Like for me, masturbation was like, super, super important. Like, yeah, a lot. Like, and that's the truth. Like, I've done it a lot, and I've done it lots and I loved it, like, it's a fucking Navy SEAL, this motherfucker, bro. I'm telling you. It's a goddamn Navy SEAL. And I don't give a shit.
I love it. I love it.
It's
This
like,
is amazing. I love being here with you guys. You know, but
It is
there's a lot
true.
of different dynamics that come into the sexual play, though. Is somebody traumatized? Is somebody totally embracing their authenticity? Is somebody being real with their wants and wishes? Or are they trying to please another? Or they're scared to open up and express what they truly want because they're scared to be judged, not accepted. They're fearful of expressing their truest wants and desires. You see, there's a lot of dynamics that come into the sexuality and embracing your sexuality, because you really have a hard time embracing and enjoying the discovery and exploration of any sex to its totality if you're coming from a place that you're unhealed, like you're traumatized and you're in denial about what you want and you lack your self-awareness and accountability of what you want as interactions sexually. See, because there's sexual interaction with yourself where anything goes. But the sexual interactions that you have with another, well, you have to be on the same page. Mm-hmm. And I know that because I got a problem with that. Finding somebody who is sexually compatible to me, that's also a different thing. And you cannot know if you're compatible with somebody sexually if you don't know yourself.
Oh my God, I love it. Right?
Yeah, but
I
like
love
for example, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you believe like a person who is not compatible with you can become compatible with you by learning what you like?
No, it's an energy thing.
They better come ready.
No, but it's an energy thing. It's a frequency. Now,
Yes.
I'll explain it.
Okay.
I am a very high vibrational being naturally every waking day of every moment. Right? So I live in an awakened state over the knowing. So that's over 963 hertz a day. That's why I'm too much for people. Now, I cannot have a man that I'm laying down with that is full of shame, blame, guilt, denial, judgment, non-acceptance, and totally
With the worst ones, right?
Trauma, pain, suffering, and denial of it all.
Yeah.
There's no way that we will meet compatibility sexually. There's no way. This is why sexual compatibility on a frequency is so important.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to discover and grow together as a couple sexually.
Totally.
That's the key to keeping that growth of the partnership alive, actually, and well. Because without good sex in that partnership, I'm sorry, that's when the eyes start wandering, and that's when the cheating starts happening, because there's no commitment to evolving that sexual bond.
Yeah.
So one person is never satisfied,
Yeah, they don't
Yes,
they complement each
but
other.
Toby talks about the growth. It's not like, okay, we had sex and it felt great, right? And let's do it again and again and again. It has to be like always, let's explore, let's experiment, let's do, like different, positions, different, settings, right? Be more creative. Like creativity factor is also important, like in any other aspect of our life, right? So it can't be, like it can't be the same all the time, because no matter how good it was maybe 10 years ago, it's not going to be good this year, right? Because it has to evolve, because we grow, we expand, we want to evolve in sex as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Big time. And that's a huge part of keeping a passion and a burning fire between a couple is great sex. Of course, when you start getting to know somebody and sleeping with them, you're not going to have that magnificent, magical sex. If you think you're going to, you're dreaming. Because I highly doubt that the first sexual encounter, you're going to say, here, this is me, authentically me. Can you swing this way? Like, you're going to warm them up to things, but they have to be on a level where they're accepting, receiving, and reciprocating of it. Because if not, it's dead in the water. Doesn't matter. You can invest 5 years in that.
Totally.
And it'll be dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talk about being open, right? I mean, the first and the most important thing is to be open. You do not have to be skillful in everything, because like we know everybody's different. You cannot be for everybody, right? But if you have that ability to stay open and explore and listen and be on the like receptive side, and actually give whatever you can, right, at that moment, I think this is like the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, because like the reason why I asked you what I asked you, right? Like, wouldn't somebody be compatible with you if they learned how to be compatible with you, right? It's because we're humans, and we're primitive beings, and like the one thing that I believe actually only exists is time, and all the challenges we had to overcome, right? That's the only proof of existence, is time itself, right? And all of the challenges we had to face to become what we are, and all the challenges we'll face to continue our evolution. And so that's why I said, right? Because if it's our own evolution, then we can always learn how to be better and learn how to love others different. And so that's why I asked that. But you do make sense when you say that it's more than learning something, it's matching a frequency, right? And I feel like I think that's really when it comes to mastering something, it's more than learning the skills, is matching the frequency, right? Matching the not being at the frequency of the beginner, but matching the frequency of mastery.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, I feel like that's the thing, it's matching the frequency. And if somebody doesn't really operate from that frequency based on, I don't know, common familiar stuff, or like simply like ideas or perspectives that really back that up, then there's no point. And people might as well be suited off with somebody that deserves somebody like them, right? And somebody will accept them, and obviously we all do, plus all the other people who are not compatible with us but are surely compatible with other people. So,
well, you know what? I'll jump in if you don't mind talking about that compatibility, and I'll give the viewers a perfect example of this. Me, I'm a very sexually open person. I can speak about it. I can engage in it. I can teach about it. I can do anything when it comes to sex. But I am not compatible with somebody else who has been stigmatized. So they've got a stigma attached to sex. They're closed-minded. They're not into foreplay or exploration or discovery. That is a total different frequency than the energy that I embody when it comes to sex. But what makes my ability to be so open about it is because of the mastery of myself. You see, with no shame, no blame, no guilt, no matter what I've lived. So compatibility, I see way too many people trying to make something work with people that they're just not compatible with sexually. So I encourage everybody, get in tune with yourself. How do you do that? You discover. Don't sit there thinking you know yourself today sexually based on experiences you had 20 years ago, eh?
Totally.
But I also feel like people are just desperate when it comes to getting into that feeling, because like, I mean, obviously people's words don't mean as much as their actions do. And so if somebody may say, look, oh, never again, now I'm gonna be single and stuff, and then I'm gonna be with somebody when the right time comes, I'll be, but fuck me, like the next week or the next 2 weeks they'll find a guy worse than the other on the same place, right? Because I feel like people are like, no, it's fine, I can go to the same place and not be with this person. That's fine, I can go to a similar place or like the other one. But it's something that, if it's a pattern, like, if people repeat patterns because they're either addicted on that patterns or they're not aware of those patterns, right? Or they actually they do like those patterns even though they're wrong, right? And I feel like a lot of people, like, in the moment there's something, but at the end of the day people are afraid of being alone, right? They don't want to be lonely, they don't want anything like that. And anything that involves, like, searching or just, like, diving deep into another meaningless night with some guy that, like, didn't even, like, because that's the thing, like, I feel like a lot of women, and look, I'm a man saying this, so, I mean, look,
Okay, Tobi, are you ready to fight?
Well,
No.
look, you know what? I'll say
Bruno-
straight up.
Bruno is talking
I'm not.
about women.
I
Okay.
am not into any two-pump chump, and I'm not into any empty sex, and I'm not into feeling like a garbage bag when he's done, and I'm not into feeling like a used condom either.
Yeah.
Totally.
Straight up.
You have to know your self-respect and self-love. And again, it comes from knowing yourself. Again, and it comes from embracing your sexuality.
Yes.
But it has what I'm gonna say has nothing to do, right, with me. Like, I wasn't even gonna talk about women, right? Maybe the way I set it up made it believe that, but I wasn't even gonna say it. But anyways,
You know what? I love what you're saying though, Bruno. I love it. And you know what? This is why it's so amazing to have different views and different opinions, because everybody brings something.
Yeah.
Seriously. And you know, if everybody would realize that there is no person that will make you feel like another one will on the planet. So even sexually. So that's why people need to be open to explore, because if they're basing their current sexual situations or exploration on past, it's not the same person that they're having sex with. So it's a total different dynamic. And this is why it's important to come as a whole, healed person to get the most out of your sexual pleasure. Because if not, you're having guilty sex, you're having judgmental sex, you're not having heart-filling and gratifying sexual exploration and discovery and pleasure. That's what it's meant to be. Absolutely. Sex is supposed to push us into our primal power of creativeness.
Yeah, but look, like the thing is that, like, I agree with you, but I think it's more than that. Like, and that's kind of what I was like wanting to get into. It's like we go now a little bit further than embracing sexuality. We're gonna talk about embracing masculinity and femininity in sexuality. And so this is my point, right? I feel like, especially a lot of women, I feel like people are so confused about what they are. They don't even know what true masculinity and femininity is. And so when a woman chooses a guy to either be with one time or 2, 3, 4, or 4 lifetime, right? I feel like women are so lost. They don't know what masculinity is. And the first guy they find and they know is not that masculine, but the few traits that actually look like masculinity, for them it's good enough, right? And so the problem here is the biggest problem here is like there's two big enormous problems here. One is that men don't know how to be masculine, right? So they try to behave like bad boys to actually, like
Healthy masculine, you mean? Healthy masculinity,
I
not
love
toxic.
that.
no,
I
yeah,
love that.
they don't know how to be masculine, right? So they don't know how to be healthy, yeah. And so they try to behave like bad boys. I mean, maybe just wear, like black collars all over you. I'm not talking about like being like dressed as a rock star, or like mental rock star. Actually that I feel like that's a great style. I'm talking about like, like behaving like a bad boy, all black and stuff. Like you think you're sick and shit, and probably just a little pussy anyways. But like, but and like the way people walk and stuff and whatever, like whatever bullshit, whatever. Like walking in groups and stuff because you feel like you're so strong because of the unity of people, but you would never walk by yourself, and probably you wouldn't even say the things you say by yourself with the things that you say in a group, right? But
So what does a healthy masculine look like to you, Bruno?
wait, okay, I'll answer to you after. I'll answer
Sorry.
that to you. No, it's all right, no worries. I'll answer that to you after. Great question, actually, great question. And then women, they look at that and they're like, okay, you know what, that's good enough. Right, that's a big problem. That's a humongous problem because you shouldn't marry good enough. You shouldn't date good enough, and then you wonder why you end up like eating ice cream, feeling like complete shit on the couch, giving yourself reasons to look in the mirror and be like, oh, I'm so fat. Yeah, you just ate a fucking bowl of ice cream because of some guy that literally doesn't fucking matter for nothing, right? And that's one, right? But two is how some women, which is wrong because I'm in no position to say, like, because I don't know how they actually feel, right? I mean, I do know they feel bad, but I don't know how it is because I'm not a woman myself, right? I just know that it's wrong, all of that, procedure, right? That's not how you deal well with a problem, right? But the thing here is that, like, a lot of women, they just end up feeling that they're not worthy of love because of all the men they're attracting. In consequence of that, they believe they're not actually worthy of good guys because of all the bad guys they've been with by believing they were good guys. But their mentality of what a good guy is, their mentality of what healthy masculinity is already wrong by by their own settings in their mind. And so of course they're going to attract all that, right? And so those men behaving the way they behave is wrong, but also women believing that they're not worthy of a good guy because they only attract those guys is also wrong, right? Because that's neither sexual, that's just stupid, right?
Okay, can I jump in there and then throw in some education on that?
Yeah, you can.
You can't judge a woman for a pattern of an unhealed program. You see, I'm going to use myself as an example.
Yes.
Me watching masculinity in my life from birth was my father was in the newspaper for being the strongest man in the townships, but a severe alcoholic and a very abusive. Well, that was what I saw masculinity to be. So then I accepted that throughout my whole life, thinking that that is what it looked like. So people do things until they know better, Bruno.
Unless they grow their awareness. And I totally agree, Bruno. You cannot talk about women. Let's talk, let's talk about
you
men.
have to come from a man's point of view.
Yes, absolutely. That does come, but that's the thing, right? That does come from a man point of view, right? Because I'm watching from the outside, and that's what I mean, right? What I said after I said that the bowl of ice cream, maybe I could have said it in another way. I apologize. But I didn't mean that.
Talk about how men deal with that. How men deal with their sexuality and
they don't. They don't.
Oh, but they do. But they do because I see men struggling with sexuality so much so that I see men leaving their wife and their children to be with men. So men are struggling with their sexuality. And society
they're struggling with their sexuality. They are struggling with their sexuality, but they don't know how to deal with it. So they push themselves away from the conversation, because they weren't taught that. They weren't right. That's what I mean. They struggle. Everybody struggles. People either struggle with their sexuality. People are either not aware of their sexuality. People are either trying to find their sexuality, or people deal super well with their sexuality. But what I'm saying is that a lot of men do struggle with their sexuality, and when I say they don't know, is that even though they struggle with their sexuality, they don't know how to deal with it, right? So they either push themselves away from the conversation, so they don't feel embarrassed, so they don't feel shy, right? And so
they don't feel rejected. I think that
Yes.
the worst thing for a man to be rejected, I think it's something that goes beyond, and like this is something that could actually hurt them to the point that they would even afraid to approach women again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or they've had experiences where they have an embedded discomfort towards women to begin with because they lack their mother as a role in their life growing up. There's a lot of factors that diversify sexuality.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's unique to oneself, and that's why I never judge anybody for what they're going through, what they've had to live, because I know that with self-mastery, you can change whatever pattern you've been on, no matter what struggles you've had with sexuality. Come on, I had struggles with sexuality for years, not knowing myself. I no longer struggle with it. I've been with both men, women, and trying to find who I was. I wasn't sure what was turning my crank until I mastered me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Mm-hmm. So you got to embrace your sexuality through embracing yourself first.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you see, it's like, I agree with what you're saying. I absolutely agree, Tobi. But the point here is not to judge. The point is like to be as real as we possibly can. So we make people aware of their own behaviors about something that doesn't matter. It's not about judging people based on what they do because it's wrong. We all know it's wrong. Those people know it's wrong as well. But it's making people understand, like, you know what, like, look, yeah, I actually do that, and you know what, like, it really doesn't make any sense, because like the reality is that person really like doesn't matter at all. And okay, it's fine, it mattered for me and all that stuff, right? And that's normal because I thought this and I thought that, and I can only feel myself as honorable and stuff because I believed in it, and that's very nice. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where like people have to be aware of their own behaviors, right? And people can't make like a big deal out of something like their life is gonna end because some guy or some woman, right, person, right, so because some person wasn't able, right, like to value you. Like, life goes on, my friend, like that person is, maybe the person you're crying about is not even that big of a diamond as you think you are. Maybe you're just so attached to that person, with all the photos and all the messages and stuff, right, that like maybe you think that life's purpose is to be with somebody and have no self-love. Maybe you think that your life's purpose, because this all has to do with purpose as well, right? Like, oh my, like, like I think like life purpose in here like is such a good topic that just kind of came up, because like like life purpose, like life purpose for what? For one person, or for what like purpose means to people in a society. Oh, have a girlfriend here and there while you're growing up and stuff, or have a girlfriend in high school, have such a big, humongous, so beautiful life story since the moment, like you start to know what jerking off even means, and then you find a girlfriend, and you have fun together and you get married, and stuff, and you're together for like 50, 60 years. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, but how many times does that actually happen?
Okay, but guess what? With the masturbation part, you weren't shamed then as a child not to do it. You weren't made to believe that you shouldn't be doing it.
Well, that's the thing, right? You were not raised with that. Yes,
that's right. Many people of our generation were shamed for self-discovery. They were judged for it. They were blamed for it. They were scapegoated for it. They have been programmed to believe that sex is strictly to get off.
To have the kids.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but sexuality and your sexual creative power is a part of your being, right?
Totally.
And it's a part of our energy centers. So in order to embrace your sexuality, it has nothing to do with another person factually, but you must be of the same compatibility as another sexual energy wise in order to get the most out of it.
Yeah. But see,
no matter what the situation is.
But you see, people have to know exactly what you just said, because people don't see it that way, right?
No, they don't.
Exactly. And that's exactly what...
They're actually half the time not even having sex for the right reasons. They're doing it to settle their anxiety or their stress as a form of release, not as a form of creative sexual power. There's a huge difference. And that's why at the point that I'm at, I don't just have sex with anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know who I am and what I bring and what my capacity of my energy is. So the compatibility is huge, but anything that is not working out sexually, you shouldn't be in, because it is destructing your well-being. Sexuality is a part of our power. So if you're engaging in anything sexual that doesn't make you feel right with somebody, you don't do it.
Totally.
It has to be two people engaged in the same intentions, and one is not going to get out of it what the other one will get out of it, unless you both have a common goal in it.
Yes. A purpose.
Yeah. But you got to be open, authentic with yourself too. Look, and I'll say it proudly. My great grandfather, he wasn't allowed to be authentic with his sexuality, and he was forced into marriage. He was gay. Wow, that made the whole bloodline suffer. Because of the stigma and the silence and the wrong attached to it. So, hey, he ended up having kids. He ended up doing everything he did, a great man. But he could not be authentic to his truest sexuality.
Yeah.
And was he actually happy, Tobi, right? That's the question.
No, he ended up a drunk and dying violently ill from alcohol.
Yeah.
And then what happened? He ended up abusing the woman that he lived with because he did not love her. He was not sexually interested in her. So it does affect everything when people are not authentic to their own sexuality. And it affects more people than just that one person. It affects ancestry, bloodlines. It causes chaos and confusion for the kids that grow up in that. There's a magnitude of expansive ripples that get sent out by one not being authentically them and true to their sexuality. So it's very, very important that people get in tune with their sexuality.
Totally. I love what you had to say. And that's where comes the point of, that embracing sexuality is also important for our empowerment, right? Because it empowers us to take that ownership of our bodies and our experiences. And it also allows us to make our own choices, right? To see what really makes us happy and in the relationship and overall to who we are. So it's very, very critical in that sense.
Yeah. But everybody struggles with sexuality until they figure themselves out.
Yes. True.
And again, what comes to my mind is the willingness to explore, the willingness to understand who you are and what kind of sexual being you are, right? And explore. Again, everything in life is the work, right? There is no such a thing as you just get the free ride. So no matter what you do in life, whether it's, career-wise, the relationship, the health, and anything else, self-exploration. Everything requires the time, the effort, and the willingness. Without it, nothing possible. And if we do not know who we are, we cannot expect other people to make us satisfied, to, please us in the bed if we do not know what we like ourselves. We cannot ever put the job, and it goes not only in the bed, but in any other areas of life. We cannot put on that responsibility on other people because it's our responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much so.
And I just feel like as well, like, that's a very good point there, Irina. Especially because like when it comes to sex, like you're not supposed to like you're supposed to have fun when you fuck. Okay, simple. Like that's right. You're not supposed to.
You're
Yeah,
supposed
like
to be elevated.
yeah, like it's supposed
Yes,
to be fun. Supposed to be fun, dirty talk and stuff. Like I'm not gonna say examples. Fuck that.
Oh,
Whatever.
I personally love that.
Yeah, a dirty talk. Like some like some stuff, right? Whatever you like to do, slapping, whipping. I don't know, some shit. I don't know, whatever. But like
whatever rocks your boat.
do porn cartoons or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Right? Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Right? Whatever. Right? I don't know. Just something. Right? And so, whatever rocks your boat, right? But you're supposed to have fun. You're not supposed to be stressed, right? And if anything like goes on, you should always be ready to, like I'm not even gonna talk about safe words. I'm just gonna say like I'm just gonna say, look, if you're not feeling it's like just say stop. Just say like, look, can we just stop for a second? Because and this and that, right? Because like I say that because like it's not about people forcing each other to do something. It's just about like if something is going on in your mind, like if something is going on whatever and you're not going to be able to be at 100%, it's so much better to say it than to pretend something that will make the other person believe he or she is the problem. Women will be more aware of this than men will, right? Because right, so yeah, I do believe so. But I just feel that, yes, so as obviously everybody agrees that, like sex is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be exciting, right? And obviously, like a little build up, right? Maybe some, texting, like, I don't know, like just something, like, you grab your phone, I don't know, you're getting home and you want to have fun with your wife and whatever. And, like, I don't know, maybe you have codes for sex, I don't know, or whatever, or, you just send like kind of a tricky sexual line. And when you get home and you get to the room, everything is already prepared and stuff. And, you can have your fun and your excitement and stuff. And why not, right? I mean, it's like you're not a child living with your mommy under rules and stuff. No, you're a free person. You do whatever the fuck you want, right? And so like, like it's all about, getting creative, like use your creativity, right? Like remember that always in your mind, remember that like, no, fuck, just because it's Tuesday or Wednesday doesn't mean that, doesn't mean I have to rest. I can say fuck this, get off from where I spent all day long, and put some fancy shoes and whatever and go to the cinema with my wife. And then we get home and we fuck for hours. And even if I sleep 1 hour less, fuck it, whatever. At least I much rather, like made my marriage last for 10 more years just based on the way I destroyed her, because no other man would have done that, and the amount of pleasure I gave her, than nothing happening, right? And another mundane night or another mundane, lame, boring ass like fucking afternoon, and then we both went to bed and we didn't even cuddle, and what a boring shit marriage, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, right? And so like, to like really make the most out of the time, right? To really make the most out of each other's time, right? By embracing each other's sexuality, and doing other cool fun stuff, right? Because cool fun stuff also leads to, adrenaline, and that will keep that butterflies flowing in that, prostate or in the uterus, right? The belly, whatever you want to call it. And so I feel like that's also like super, super, super important, do cool fun stuff, whether if it's like radical stuff, like, like climbing trees or whatever, when you want to fuck upstairs on the tree, whatever, or like, whether if it's going to the cinema or to the restaurant and then come back home, whatever, or, just whatever goes, whatever you like, whatever you like.
Tobi, you wanted to add something because you're nodding your head.
Well, I can only say one thing, that the sex that I want today is very unlike any sex I've ever had in my life. Because I know myself completely. And, so many people don't express the things that they like because they're scared of being judged. And they're scared of being shamed and guilted and blamed, or they're scared of that person telling other people what they like or what turns their crank. You know what? Leave all that shame and inhibitions at the door when it comes to Tobi. And a lot of people can't. They're scared to express what they really want done to them. And you can tell. And something, I'll say it too. There's a lot of things that happen when it comes to, when you were talking about masculinity and femininity and the roles and all of that. Well, it's very difficult for a female to be in her divine feminine sexual power if she does not have a leading male. Okay?
Totally. 100%.
So, it takes a strong, confident, leading man to allow the divine feminine to be in her femininity. So what does that mean? Well, I've had to walk around with masculinity on the forefront in my energy to protect me from masculines, because I haven't had that dominant leader male role that can step in and lead me. So therefore, that of course has led to the bedroom. Of course that's led to sexual interaction. That's why a lot of people find me so-called intimidating. No, because they're scared of facing themselves primarily. And I just a little too open for that. But, a lot of factors step into it. So I encourage everybody, even the listeners, guys, you got to really, really take a deep dive inside of you. Stop looking for the pleasure outside. Look within to know what is really going to pleasure you and explore it. And if you're shamed or blamed or guilted for feeling that way, well, then you need to stop that too and rid yourself of that, because it's not helping you. It's actually blocking you from having the best sex ever. Literally, openly.
I totally agree. I think there are such great insights today on the episode, and just to say that we are never done to explore. We are never done to learn. And like you mentioned, Tobi, whatever takes you now, it's not the same what was, getting you high, let's say 10 years ago. And that's the beauty of it, right? Because we learn, we grow, we explore, and we know ourselves better. We keep self-discover process, and we keep discover in the process who we are, what we like, what our desires. And obviously it's important to know, so this way we can effectively communicate these desires to our partner and openly be able to explore and experiment in the bedroom.
Yeah, well, another important factor of that is if we always feel the same touch over and over and over again, we become desensitized.
Yes. Totally.
We no longer feel it. So you can't just have sex the same old way all the time, because it is not going to have its effect. So you got to indulge and engage authentically, totally, to the totality. And that's why it always has to grow and evolve.
Yep. Totally.
Always, because hey, you got to keep it stimulated or it's just dead in the water.
Yes. Yes. And it's very important to recognize it's part of us. Maybe some people are less sexually interested than others, but it doesn't mean that they lack something. Maybe they just want to spend more time to explore and question themselves, right? Everything starts from the process, like I really want to know more.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point that you said too, because it's a lot of trauma. People are scared of being hurt. What did you call it? Rejected? Yes.
Mhm.
Rejection. There is so many huge factors that actually block your capacity in your creative sexual center because of your mere thoughts of it and your fears about it. So you can't have your access to your highest potential of that sexuality and creative power if you're blocking yourself from it.
Yes, totally. All right. Anything, any other last thoughts before we wrap up the episode? I think it was pretty engaged, and I'm sure the viewers got something valuable out of it. And as always, we encourage people to communicate and let's share and be more open, right? Just start doing something out of your comfort zone. That's where the life starts to be in different colors. Anything else to add? Bruno, do you have anything else to add to our discussion?
Yeah, I mean, have lots of fun. I mean, like, but have great sex. Honestly, like, it's one of the best things in life. But it's like for real, like it's good. Like, it's one of the best things in life when you have somebody who accepts you the way you are, and like looks at your body and says, "I don't give a shit," and just really loves you for what you are, not for what you have or for what you can give, and doesn't treat you like like a once in a time, like type of situation. Obviously, I don't know if that happens a lot with men or not. I'm not really in that world, neither do I want to. I think people who have one night stands are all psychopaths because of the amount of energy they're taking inside of them, especially women who will never get rid of that, all of that, like energy with like that the energy in men leaves, but the energy in women doesn't leave, and they're not even tripolar anymore. They're like tripolar or some shit. Like they have so much energies inside of them mixed up, like so many personalities. When they're angry, one personality comes out. When they're calm, another personality comes out. Everything comes out minus their own personality, and so that's why I say it. So I'm not much in that world, but but have great sex and embrace your sexuality with with a person who accepts it, loves it, and really wants to grow that with you. Explore new stuff with one person only, right? Is so cool. It's fun. It's exciting. It's cool. When you get creative and stuff, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Awesome. Toby, how about you?
Hey guys,
Any
don't be frivolous with your partners. Like he said, you get soul ties for no intention, no reason on your part other than you were looking for a good time. But on that note, when you're getting curious about your sexuality, there are things that you can do, cord cutting mantras and well-being, pulling your power back from situations and sexual experiences to free yourself of what he's talking about. So you're not locked into anything. But guys, explore your sexuality. It brings you a power in your life that is unlike another. That's why we have it. That's why we're sexual beings. But it's supposed to be healthy sex that we're having. So I encourage you all to have some healthy sex in your life because you all matter. I love you all.
I love it.
Thank you for having me, guys. It was amazing today.
I love it. Such a great episode, and just for everybody, continue exploring, continue loving yourself, because everything starts from self-love, self-awareness, and self-esteem. So continue doing it and embrace your sexuality. We have it for a reason, so don't be ashamed, don't be judgmental, and stay open. Stay open for the possibilities. Lots of love. See you on the next episode. Bye.